guys, it's me, T, coming at you with a reading for today, for today's afternoon into tomorrow morning into the afternoon. Yes, bitches. Yes, I'm so excited. So thank you guys so much for tuning in when you do. I'm super grateful for that. And I'm extra grateful that it's Friday, and I'm extra grateful and joyous that it's just like I don't know, it's just all good. There might be a tinge though. This is what I'm sensing, so I'm just gonna share it. There might be, and I'm like, as I'm breathing, it's like I want to breathe in, but it's like I don't know how to express it, but there's like breaks to the breathing a little bit, even as you inhale and receive it. So what I wanted to say there is, there is a tinge, and that goes along with the tinge. There is a tinge of, how do I express it? More so of kind of a little gross energy. I don't know how to express it. Just kind of for the most part, it's really good. But then there's just that, you know how there's the yin to the yang, where it's the white is the majority of it, and then there's that little black dot. That's how I feel today. I feel like that black dot may even, and thank you God for the black dot. I'm just gonna say thank you God that it's not bigger than it is, right? But it may be that black dot is a little what's it called, not predominant but louder than the white, right? Which sucks, because we do want to appreciate all of our blessings that are of the purity and that are, of the light and things like that. Not that the darkness isn't of the light, because the darkness is a different type of light. People don't realize that. Even if it's dark and there's no light, you can have a dark blue that has a little bit of light in it, right? So the whole thing is, and even the dark, like I said, when as I have been giving these readings, we're always working with the positive darkness, not the negative, right? Because there's quadrants to it, is what I wanted to say here. So let me just get a card out, because I have not. Oh, okay. Yo, Spirit's so funny. Okay. All right, so a card for us today. Yes. Yo, high vibing Mariah Carey music is definitely going on today. So that is beautiful. All right, so, but also what I wanted to say here is there is movement to take action, but then again, there's this small slowness within you to kind of slow down, which might be self-sabotaging things, but also people think self-sabotaging is kind of a negative thing, but I think it's a protection of sorts. It has to be, because I think there's a positive reason for it actually existing, right? Just like everybody has a positive reason for existing, it's just whether or not that they choose to live for the joy or choose to live for the fucking misery, either or. All right. I'm going to be drinking water throughout this, so please don't mind me. So the first card up is Don't Stop, which is you've been on a roll. And also don't stop meaning so wherever you're coming from and you think you're heading to, there's a flow to it. There's a glide. So it's kind of you're definitely headed in the right direction. You know where you're, I want to say both vision, but also your voice, okay, and your nose, in the middle of the vision and the voice, your nose knows, your nose knows where it's going. So it's going so there is something that you do know that's you're being led into the right direction of. Also, it's very interesting. Do I talk about it? Okay. There's this tinge that came through today, a little hint of using your voice. So here's what I want to express about using your voice. There are, there's so much excitement in the air. I feel it. It's so wild. I can hardly catch my breath even, which is a good thing. But So what I want to say is that there's this tinge of maybe possibly not expressing what you need to express to other people because you don't want to like shake the boat with their emotions. Oh my God, and this is what came through today too, which is so wild. So we have the word kindness, right? But as I started, do I talk about it? Okay, yeah. So I started singing in the mornings because I have to kind of get my vocal cords just, in the flow of things and just kind of like more so in the practice of it because I like start and I stop and, I don't take it seriously and then whatever. Not that I need to take it seriously, I need to take it for joy. So now I'm taking it for joy. Like I've taken it up. I'm like, yo, we're doing this, And what I want to say is I even made my own little station. It's so cute. So, not the prettiest, but it's functioning. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta have faith as you gotta faith it to make it, as they say. You know what I'm saying? As the new version of fake it to make it is. I love that version. So, long story short, and I've been literally singing for my faith. It's like literally, like, I want to say a stress reliever, and it's like singing for the God. It's like singing at church. Like, it's like my own little mini choir. I fucking love it, right? And so as I sing, I muse different lyrics, and what came through today, and I'm like musing my emotions and musing my feelings as I'm like, working through the songs and getting myself very much more familiar with the songs too. And long story short, I literally thank you, Spirit, I literally came up with the fact that everybody everybody kind of likes to market the kindness, like be kind to one another, right? And really, I just think when it comes down to it, it's not even kindness anymore. Kindness should be like your basic needs being met. Like it shouldn't even, it should be like human 101, right? Even if you're going through shit, it doesn't matter because not everybody is the cause of your fucking, negative shit that's going on. So the kindness really does need to be, thrown around like confetti, right? We're gonna work with the party vibes today. But also, or sprinkled around wherever you go, whichever quote you want to use. But long story short, no one talks about how really the evolution of kindness, which I just pieced together, is delicate. It's a delicate matter. It's fragile. It's tenderness. You know what I'm saying? And I literally learned this through my song. And I was like, oh my God, I could be quote unquote mad at the world for just not being kind, but also not being deep enough to be a little bit more tender with other people, right? Like tender is like super deep. Like it takes time, thought, faith, like a lot, like it's like a super deep respect, right? Thank you, God. That's basically what it is. It's a super deep respect. Deep love, right? And I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants to be treated as. Not just kindness, like, again, should be like the foundational base, right? But I think we're really evolving past the kindness and more into being delicate with one another. And that's not being touchy, right? That's not being like triggered about everything. That's just literally putting that treatment up front to other people so that they can feel safe and they can feel loved and they can feel honored and they can feel, as if like all is okay in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what I'm trying to say. No matter what is going on, you need to always have that quote unquote vision of love that you're looking at, of which is being safe in the world. So I think gentleness here, but like a severe gentleness, talking about like delicateness, is necessary for you to have joy today. And if you're not if you're not treated with just plain kind, this is how I see it. You know how some people are like in relationships, they're like, you don't like that person, you just love that person, there's like this underlying love. No, there's none of that. There's like literally like you either like I know. It's not, I feel and I know as though the standards are you need to be around people, we all need to be around people that absolutely like us and love us and are willing to go gentle with us. And that's basically what it is. Like, you love, and you are kind, and you're patient, and you're willing to go gentle and deep and, you know, delicate with us. And that's basically who everybody on this earth deserves to revolve around. And if you don't have that, you are okay to dismiss those people. That is coming severely for me, because of the fact that that's really kind of where we're heading. So that's like a large part of like this message today. So the card that represents, you know, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and after is Don't Stop. So that's until tonight, right? And then transitional wise from today into tomorrow, we have Recovery. So there is a divine feminine energy, I feel, that really, because it takes this is not just for divine feminines, but it takes divine feminine energy to slow you the fuck down a little bit, to slow your roll, and to basically allow you to kind of just relax and catch up and just like, you know, really being in the moment. You know, something came up about that too, about being in the moment, about how I think what do they say? Animals help you be in the moment, as do kids. But really kind of the recovery process is about just taking it all in and being in the here and now, and literally just being in that recovery zone, right? Where you're just taking it all in. And the frame of this card is green, which is basically healing. And also the deep depths of the heart. So talking about deep, right? Like, it's like that's very a big deal. That's a very big deal. Also, I was going to insert that Archangel Raphael, if you don't know how to kind of use the energies to recover as best as possible, definitely call upon Archangel Uriel for your Do Not Stop, and Archangel Raphael for your absolute recovery of what your soul's soar is. And by soar I mean SORE, okay? Because I literally muse that too, like in music today, that it's like when I thought through context the song was saying soul, which by the way, whenever you listen to lyrics on YouTube, like, not everybody knows the fucking lyrics themselves. They're just posting because out of, you know, whatever, the best that they can do, you know. But a lot of the times it's very interesting because even through the mistakes of other people's, non-editing skills, like, I still get to muse what it sounds like, right? So I might know what the lyric is, but I actually am reading a different lyric due to somebody else's, inability to actually know what the lyric is. So they're just typing what they think it is, but also vice versa, right? Like, I could be super wrong, but they could be super right. And I'm like, oh shit, I learned something new every day with like, oh, that was what it says in the song. Like, who the fuck knew, you know? So super grateful for that type of divine love that I get to kind of experience in the morning, and how it just fucking flows into different, like, I was able to flow into it, and then the singing flows into other expansive creative areas that I use music alongside with. So it's kind of really amazing. Also, today could be a really big music day where really you are listening to music that touches your soul's. It could touch your soul. It could touch your sores. It could touch your soul's sores, and the sores of your soul, right? Like, all vice versa, you know. So definitely, and that is a part of recovery for sure, right? Like, when you hear music, you know there's something that needs to be healed, right, within you, whether it's stress, whether it's, just counting your blessings, right? Like, and maybe, you have to kind of decipher within you what is best for you. Like, if you're a person that looks all too much at the darkness, which is that, like, focused on that fucking dot, but yet you're like, you have all these, beautiful, pure blessings in front of you, maybe it's really good to kind of, listen to music so that you can kind of unfocus out of it, and you can like soothe your soul while also being grateful and feeling blessed, right? Because they say that there's two reasons why you sing. The reasons why you sing is because you're all too blessed, and or you are hurting, right? Like you are stressed. You're stressed or you're hurting. So there's like some sort like there, and honestly there must be more, because there's like 7 different human emotions, which, you know, music tends to really touch upon all of them, right? But those are I think the kind of more hardcore ones, right? You need to realize that you're blessed, and or you need to just relax and zone out and stress relieve, whether it's you're just zoning out and listening to music, you know, just receiving it, which it definitely very well more so could be, or you're singing to it as well, just to kind of release like any pent up, you know, non-creative tension that you might have going on. The Yang card for tomorrow is, so we're going Friday. So today, the don't stop for today is for creativity, it's for children, it's for the future. The recovery is obviously the midway happy way, and the transitional card between don't stop and the next card, of which is forgiveness. And forgiveness depicts like what's going on in the top half or the first half of Saturday, which is helpful people and travel. And that is the forgiveness card. So I'm getting like a whole bunch of different things for this card, but I think the loudest one that's coming through is that Spirit is literally going to bring some sort of forgiveness. And here's what's so funny, okay? So I was social media-ing up or whatever. Not that makes any sense, but we're gonna make it make sense when I speak about it. So when I talk, I'm gonna make sense. So anyhow, so long story short, there was some fucking recording that I absolutely loved, and it was something about like the only forgiveness that I'm receiving from here on out is literally cash money. So it's like, and it was like a sassy one where it was like, you know, that's the forgiveness that I'm going to receive, because there's something called accountability where you're able to put money into my account. And I was like, yes. And it's so funny because I voiced that to my mom a long time ago, or those people that are trying to give me gifts when I'm kind of more so of a minimalist, and I appreciate the gifts, but I don't want the gifts anymore. I need to be able to survive. So cash money is exactly what I fucking absolutely allow into my life. And I said that to my mother, and I said, listen, I need either genuine apologies and or cash flow into my fucking, you know, forgiveness, cash flow into my, like, just cash, like straight up cash, because the whole thing is, it's like, you know what you are lacking in, not even so lacking in, but you know what you need more of, okay, all the time. And thank you, Spirit, that was a confirmation. I might have to take a nibble of what I'm eating right now, because I'm a little, I don't know, I need a crunch. I don't like knock it, I don't knock myself for saying that, like, you know, when people are like, oh, that's so shallow, it's like, dude, I'm everything. I'm the entire spectrum of whatever exists out there. I'm the rainbow, you know what I'm saying? So part of being like a human rainbow is you're gonna, hopefully, if you're truthful enough with yourself, you're gonna know that, okay, you know, I never really was so much about, and I'm still not, because my spirituality kind of like knows better, you know? But when it comes down to it, oh my god, that felt so good. Guys, thank you so much for allowing me to eat while I'm on here. Honestly, the freedom of it is fantastic. So I like needed that so hardcore. Okay, so long story short, it was like soul touching. So long story short is like, I feel like there's somebody coming through, and it's really funny too, because like I actually was watching, this is a side note, do I talk about anything? Okay, they want me to talk about it. I'm watching a show, right, where a female in the show, it's like a very evolved show, so like a female in the show is a lesbian. She is married another female, feminine, whatever, it doesn't matter. And long story short, her father, you know, it was a traditional father, and they decided that they were going to get married, and the daughter of that father, it was like really upset with him, and she basically had a talk with him, and she said to him at one point, like, if you can't find it, you know, like an accepting space in your heart for like the way that I am, that I don't want you coming to the wedding, right? So long story short, she told him that, and he decided not to come to the wedding. And so, but afterwards, like, I don't know, it was like they were having car troubles or whatever, and it was like, I don't know, it was like 2 weeks after or something, he shows up with a brand new car, and he was saying like, hey, you know, I'm really sorry that, and, you know, I'm really, like, he's like, I thought you might need like a new car or whatever. And she was like, so the daughter was like, no, like, take it back, you know? And the wife of the daughter was kind of like in the middle of it, because like obviously like you want to be respectful of your spouse and what they want and what they've been through, but you also kind of practically know what the fuck it is that you need and where your money is kind of going to, where it's not being able to get you out of a scenario. So it's kind of like she was like standing behind the scenes just waiting for, like, you know, something to come through. And then she was also trying to tell her, which I think this is really important, she was telling her, because at one point, you know, it came down to like, oh, you just want the car. And she's like, no, I don't just want the car. I just think that we need to accept the apology. Because she goes, in our perspective, we think we're right over him being wrong. And in his perspective, he thinks he's right over us being wrong. So she was like, why don't we just fucking just understand that, accept it, and just like accept his gift, because that's the way that he can like express his forgiveness, and call it a day. And long story short, sad thing there was, you know, I guess like so, you know, some sense got talked into the daughter, and the daughter went over to the father's house to kind of just like, I guess like, hash things out, like, you know, treat the situation with like a whole lot of forgiveness. And the father ended up dying, right? She found her father kind of like he passed like in his chair watching like football, which by the way is the super peaceful way to pass. That's all I have to say. So if anybody ever passes that way, you know that they lived a damn good life. Like, they're just like alone, chilling, you know, relaxing, and, you know, and in a calming manner, and they just pass. That's a beautiful way to pass. So at least to me it is. And so long story short, you know, so that's what happened there, and I feel like there's this big ticket item coming through, excuse me, for somebody that like literally had to be released. That was like, such a big one. It's such a big burp. I've never even like, I've never even done that. I don't feel like I'm on live. I'll hold my burps back, like, but I'll need to eat something, sometimes. And so, long story short is, so my whole thing is there's a big ticket item that might be coming your way out of a forgiveness scenario. And what I like, I love the Fran Drescher's take on it was so hilarious, because there was one time where she was like, it was like ego versus forgiveness, right? And she had a movie done, and I forgot what I think it was like The Stylist and the Beast. It was like a version of Beauty and the Beast, which was phenomenal. I love that version. I love her in in general. And she was like, by the way, who doesn't? She's like the best. So long story short, she was like, I remember her walking out the door, and she taught me something, because I would always be like, oh, the prideful one, like, no, I don't need your money and this and that, and like, you can have it, you could shove it, right? Like that type of thing. But my whole thing is, it's like, shit, like, you know, like I've been evolving on my own, and the thing is, like, you do see the real shit. And so my whole thing is, it's like, life can be really tough. And so I'm just saying, like, and I'm not saying it out of user and abuser, but I'm saying it in this way exactly, which Fran Fine was fucking so right about it. She was saying she walked out the door and she got paid like a severance pay because she like was dismissed from a job, right? And she was like, she's like, I'm not taking your money, right? And then he was like, but just take it, like, it's, you know, like, you're gonna need it, you know? And so she was like, and then she like walks out and she walks back in. She goes, you know, on second thought, or however you say it, she was like, you're a king and I am jobless. So she was like, I am going to take this money and I am going to use it, right? Like, so she was like being funny about it, but it's true. Like, if you really put it in practical matters like that, like, if somebody has the ability to fucking help you out and yet are really coming to you with, you know, with just genuine help, right? I think that it's okay to take it. I think that it's okay to say thank you and move on, you know? And not that, like, you know, not that things are okay, like, things might take time to be okay, and or they may never be okay, right? In my world, I always go with they're never going to be okay, because the whole thing is, it's like, we all know what we did, but if you do want to apologize in some sort of material, not some sort of money way, money and or big ticket item way, which I am super open to, now I'm super open to, then that's the way that I'm going to receive your forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what it is, because at the end of the day, it's not easy sometimes to make it on your own in a genuine way, right? Like, when you're just kind of like in the waiting mode. And also, but you know, those people that wouldn't take stuff in a prideful way are really kind of standing up for the right thing to do all the time, and that gets a little tiring too. So it's like, we need a fucking little bit of a break, honestly speaking, you know? So it's like, that's where I stand, where it's like, you know what, and especially as a divine feminine, we're doing your best and doing things as right as you possibly can. I really think that it's well deserved to, like, literally receive all the good that's coming, even if it is from some sort of forgiveness aspect of somebody, right? So, like, so if people want, like, so when it comes to gifts, like, I actually don't receive them because of the fact that it's just kind of like, like, put it this way, like, so I know it's a gift to receive, like, a big ticket item, but, like, I'm gonna either receive monies, and or big ticket items. Like, I don't think that I deserve small gifts and I mean, listen, I deserve small gifts because I deserve the entire spectrum. Don't get it twisted. But the whole thing is, at where I'm at right now, it's like, and where I'm always going to be at, I feel, is not that you need more money, but you appreciate the money that always comes into your life, right? And so that's where I can super appreciate all the things that I get to do with money, rather than, because it's kind of like an experience. Money is an experience a little bit, you know, which is more, it's more gratifying to me than, you know, if somebody were to pick out something that I don't even fucking like, but they're giving it to me because A, they think I'll like it, which may not be the case, and B, they think that they're out of the woods, when really that's not the case at all sometimes. Like, if I don't like the fucking gift, and I know that it's a thought that counts, I know, but at the same time, there's different things that people will, that I don't know how to express it. It's kind of like, it's a little bit selfish is what I'm trying to say. Like, and I know I'm being selfish, but like, it's a little bit selfish to give a gift to it's like double selfish for some reason. Like, I feel like money is just more clean cut. It's more understood by everybody. You know, it's more universal. I think that's what I'm trying to say. and a gift, especially to like a semi-minimalist, is like, A, you don't know me that well, obviously, like you didn't take me into account. B, the whole thing is you're wanting to gift me something that you think I'll like, so like if I don't like it, it doesn't get the job done. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm like super practical with that shit, where it's like, don't mess around. Like if you want forgiveness, like you either have to genuinely come at the scenario with the, you know, I'm really sorry, I didn't know what I was doing, like, you know, quote unquote, like not cut me some slack, but at least like some slack was cut, you know, and then, or given, you know, and then, you know, and then you can kind of go from there, you know. So that's what I like about money. It's pretty much universal, and I appreciate that aspect, rather than, you know, and just being genuine about it, like, you know. And the whole thing is, you're not out of the woods just yet if you can't vocalize how apologetic you are, right? Like you still have to come with an apology, right? But the whole thing is, if you don't know how to, then, you know, money definitely super helps. Like that's just one of those things, you know. But also, what did I want to say there is like super, yeah, because not everybody can go deep, right? Like we have to understand that, like deep people, like, or people with, you know, hurt souls, like they really, first of all, it's all of us running around, you know what I'm saying? But also, not many of us are waiting around for apologies, and we're good, you know? But if you want to apologize, that's the way to do it, literally, is just to give money, to say, I'm really sorry, here, take this, like, you know, let it help you out with something. And that's beautiful. Also, what I'm sensing here is like, I feel as though very much big separation really helps recover the situation. So like if there is time and a lot of time and a lot of space, an abundance of time, abundance of space that's in between what happened. Actually, I'm going to just say the two people that are kind of maybe like not talking, like that actually heals the energy, and I think that's what's needed as well. So it's like basically knowing your self-awareness and that you need to back the fuck off, so that, excuse me, you can give a person time and space to then heal, is a huge gift, right? And so then, you know, this is why I'm sensing that like this gift is coming after a very long time of like, not even you having waited, but more so of you just having dealt with the bullshit and then now receiving the, I guess the closure to it, of which could come in, you know, a big ticket or a big price type of cash flow. Which, God bless, you know what I'm saying? God bless. And this is what I'm getting for those that don't have the money, that are like gifting gifts that they're getting from somewhere, wherever the fuck, right? Is that they need to be in their divine feminine. They're the ones that need to literally work on being in their divine feminine aspect of their life, divine delicateness, right? And usually that's the reason why the fight happens, because you're not delicate enough with another person. That's why I can't fucking stand fighting, but at the same time, it's like, I'm so delicate with myself and others, and I try to be as helpful and as making life beautiful as possible, right? For both myself and others. That when I get treated like shit, you're like, you don't realize how much fucking effort and work that takes to actually zen the fuck out. I'm also seeing lens, which is, you know, it's like Zen lens. So it's your ability to see how you can make things better, you know, make things more beautiful, make things more better. And so it's like the ability to see and the ability to kind of be self-aware, to be like, okay, I know how we can make this flow, how we can create harmony, which takes a whole bunch of selflessness, by the way. And so, long story short, I just feel like, you know, that's where I think people get a little mad, because you're like, dude, you can come in and you can just like give me a gift and think it's all fine, and it's not, because you don't realize how much fucking work I have put into things, and you just like come in and say whatever the fuck you want and like destroy the shit. Like, it doesn't even out. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even out. But the way that it could even out is more so by you giving fucking cash flow. And so see how it hurts your fucking pocket a little bit. May it not. But at the same time, it's kind of like pain needs to kind of cancel out pain a little bit. And I know that's like tit for tat, or like eye for an eye. But at the same time, that's how severe I feel about the protection of my building, of my dreams, of my work, you know? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you have to realize it's like an artist putting so much time and work into like their art, for instance, and somebody just coming in and just saying this isn't good enough and fucking pummeling it, like destroying it to where you can't even fucking create a mosaic out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do then? What are you going to do? You know, an artist relies on money, really. You know, like they're going to sell that painting. So you have to at least fucking pay them out somehow, just so that they can help be boosted in their survival to thrival. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what I'm trying to get at here. It's like more so that's what needed to kind of come out. It's like, that's where the money is, like, you know, like, if you're not an artist and you come from a, you know, non-artist sensitivity type of mind frame, no one's asking you to fucking stay there, but you have to at least reciprocate what you are getting majority of the time from a fucking person that really just doesn't have any fucking foul treatment towards anybody else. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to kind of look at the person that you're dealing with. You can't just I don't know, it's very interesting, because it's like tit for tat. Like, you can't just like come through and like pummel over somebody. You can't just do that. Even if you're mom, even if you're, you know, even if you're like brought up a different way, like you would never do that out in the normal world. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't do it, like, for instance, at home. You know, you would never do it to a normal person. Like, I'm talking to healthy people, right? Like, those are the only people that resonate with me. Everybody else can go fuck off, because you know, you're making this world a whole bunch of nutso-ness that it doesn't even need to be, when really what we need is simplicity, and we need it to go a lot further than, you know, just temporarily speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's just temporary. No, it's not. Simplicity is fucking here to stay, first of all and foremost, and long term. So get used to it. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. And it's beautiful there. So that's where whenever I say stuff like nothing changes, that's what I mean. Simplicity should not change. Normal fucking thinking, like common sense fucking thinking, should not fucking be changed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's common sense for a reason. It's sense because it's unity. It unifies people. So the whole thing is like, you know, you think that you can act like, somebody had said that the other day, like, free speech is not really free speech. Oh yeah, I did hear somebody say that free speech is not really free speech, which is true. It's like, you can't like be so free to say like bomb on a plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are limitations. So my whole thing is, when you have kids or you're out in public, it's the same fucking thing. It's like, you can't, there are certain ways that you need to treat people that you can't, you know, that you can't seem to, that you can't get away from. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't untreat people the way that you wouldn't want. You can't treat people in a different way that you wouldn't want to be treated, because it's not going to go anywhere. That's what that's basically what I think I wanted to say there. So this forgiveness is coming through helpful people or travel, and or it might be you know, thinking that you need to, wherever you go, you might have to or you might have to like make big strides to like actually come through on forgiveness towards somebody. So you might have to travel towards the person. And what's interesting is both the recovery card, give me 1 second, I got it true. The recovery card and the forgiveness card both depict two females sitting in Indian style position of receiving. So basically, I feel like it's the divine feminine aspect of ourselves for sure. Maybe it's majority females that are about to like receive big deals, and that actually could be a thing too, in terms of receiving a big ticket item, a big deal. So just feel it out intuitively and say thank you when it does arrive. And also, and I'm saying receive it because of the fact, but always go with your gut. For the majority of you, I'm saying receive it. And this will then keep or like prevent this cycle of giving and receiving from stopping and starting, right? Just like how at the beginning of this video or this podcast, when I took a breath, it was like a huge inhale, which was pretty clear, but then it was like towards the end of it, like it was like as if I was a little bit scared to receive all of it, right? So what this reading here kind of depicts is like, don't do the stop and the go, just like in my breath, how it kind of like shook a little bit, stopped and went. Like, it's for you to basically receive, to then have this cycle of flow, keep on moving. And what I'm seeing here is purified water. So there really might be genuine like thought behind it, genuine emotions behind it. So that's what is going to create a better flow. That's why I say all genuine everything. And if you can't genuinely apologize, it's okay. Like for me, I think that it's whether you're able to say I can't genuinely apologize, or I'm unable to because I don't know how, or or I just don't think I need to apologize. Like any one of those things, I actually super more appreciate it. Or even if you were just kept quiet, I would super appreciate that too. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not expecting apologies from anybody in this lifetime. I think it's it's rude, and it's really obnoxious to think that like you deserve an apology from somebody who may not ever come around with it. Like you shouldn't leave yourself hanging like that, is what I'm trying to say. Because out of self-love and self-forgiveness, and out of your own self-strength, you can literally move forward and allow yourself to move forward in that flow rather than wait for somebody to come through on an apology. You know what I'm saying? But also, I understand if you're not gonna, like, I understand if you're gonna remember that shit for the rest of your life due to an apology or not apology. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, when you fuck with purified waters or purified people or people of the light, or people that are trying to do majority of good rather than fucking negative, and sometimes when they do end up doing negative, it's because they come through as quote-unquote good trouble, which is a really fantastic show on Freeform. So my whole thing is, it's like, I don't know what I was going to say there, is basically, yeah, it's like we just have to do what we can to keep the flow going, right? Now, Spirit wants me to talk about a service that I offer, but I don't know what it is. I think it's a service of flow. Okay. Here's the thing that's coming through, and this is so odd. So, I love setting up successful stations using what you typically have in your household, just because a lot of American households, but households everywhere, right? We guys, we all have like an excess amount of stuff that we could be using towards the creativity that we want to set up. So I love making space. I love making it beautiful. I love setting up a little space. So I think when it comes down to me promoting one of my services, I think the one that's coming through is, successful setups for your dreams. I'm like burping. So more so dreams that, like, let's say you want to be a singer, or let's say you want to be a DJ, or let's say you want to be even something as simple as like having a dream, like you've always had a vision or a dream to like have, let's say, like a coffee station in your household that's beautiful, or like a laundry station in your house that's beautiful. Like, that's still a dream. Don't knock that shit. Like, absolutely create that shit the way that you want to, like call it out. Like, if there's something missing in your life and you want it fulfilled, that's a dream, And so so the whole, and that's going back to being real with yourself, which I really appreciate, and also goes back to being able to apologize to other people. Is like, you can only genuinely apologize to other people when you're like real with yourself, and or you're real enough to like be self-aware of, maybe it's not even just self-aware, but it's aware of the situation in terms of the energy and how it's slightly off. And it's like, well, then you question, like, well, what, I must have done something. If this, one-on-one, if this person doesn't like me, or, so it takes, I'm going to say self-awareness to, self-accountability, right? To basically be self-genuine, self-truthful is what we were talking about before, sorry. So, being standing in your truth and standing in, which is your power, P.S., amen. So standing in your truth, standing in your power, to be brave enough to actually just ask somebody, like, hey, I noticed that there was like a different vibe of energy that like went from, like, oh, it was all giddy and happy and stuff, into like nothingness. So it was like, did I do something to like, negate that shit? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it takes somebody courageous to like talk about things that are off, you know what I'm saying? Or things that are missing, or things like that. So whether it be also, something that's very much so coming through as of late is being the medium that, or the medium slash mediator slash, but also both, right? For people in what's it called, in a marriage, okay, that are not doing so well and that are having a tough time communicating, right? So I am really great with that. I've done that all my life, ever since I was younger. And I'm kind of like a love translator in that sense. Like, I translate the energies, I translate, what's really going on inside of the hearts of people. I actually extract a lot of stuff, what's going on inside of the hearts of people that like no longer is needed. So I also wanted to, I never really put that out as a service. Thank you, Spirit, that's for confirmation. But I think that's another dream of what kind of could be missing in somebody's life in terms of in a relationship that you might want to, hash out, and you might need a person to kind of help you do that. And I am the one to come to in order to do that, because I'm very, when it comes down to like people, I am super unbiased. I like people to be free as much as possible. And I also am very highly confidential with like everything that's spoken. I might, whatever. It is what it is. I am highly confidential when it comes down to it. I'm just gonna say that. What I was gonna say is like literally like I like to talk about different stories that, you know, that I like to learn out of life. And so, you know, stories might come up in terms of what I've, you know, experienced myself and how I was involved, but like usually I would never talk about somebody, like, you know, in terms of specifics at all. I don't do that shit at all, because I would never want that shit done to me, so I don't do that to other people. That's how I live, and I love it like that. I love it. Yes, it takes a lot of self-control, but I don't think that, you know, I don't think it's a self-control that you can't ask of another. You know what I'm saying? I think it really kind of comes down to, hey, what's up? I think it really kind of comes down to the ability of, yeah, just treating other people how you would want to be treated. And I don't think it's all too much to ask for when it comes to other just people in general, to just have their mouth shut about different things, so that so that you can actually feel a safe space or a safe place with somebody, and just kind of be able to, you know, I'm gonna say purge, but also, yeah, I'm like seeing, like, you know, like when you put like a brand new sheet down on your bed, or like a brand new like tablecloth on the table. It's kind of like you're I know how to say it in my language, but I don't know how to say it in English. It's I'm gonna say it in my language. It's like, it could say stress. So it's like it's not coming to me either. It's what is the word, Spirit? When you kind of, I guess, like start clean slated, but like you get rid of the like the negative nonsense bullshit, you know, like we all need a safe space to get rid of that, you know, instead of it like piling on. But you need to kind of, yeah, that's the best way that I can think of, is like just to start over with a clean slate. But there's a certain word that I am trying to use here, and it's not coming through. But anyway, so yeah, but we'll just stick to like brand new clean slate. So that's what I'm seeing in my head. So that's the whole thing in terms of, wow, that's so interesting. I think I've always wanted to do that, but I think that deserved a explanation before I actually turned it into a service, because of the fact that it might like sound weird even coming out. So I think that really kind of deserved like a heart-to-heart explanation, rather than me just like posting about it and seeing that come from left field. You know what I'm saying? I think the background story was also super necessary. And so, yeah, and that's the way, literally, like, talk about this forgiveness card that came out for tomorrow. I feel as though there's a way that you can actually, like, even through monies, you can settle people's, like, emotional, like, wrongdoings between each other, so that you can be able to freely do what it is that you need to do, in terms of you being the, you know, the talker, about you being the speaker of like what's going on in your world, versus, you know, with also talking to like, what's it called? Like, I don't know how to put it. Sorry, my mind went elsewhere because I'm thirsty. So give me 1 second. 1 second. Whatever, I think that the forgiveness is like, the money needs to unlock something, is what I'm trying to say. Hence, why I'm talking about it, so that you know that when I post a service, it's not gonna really fully be, I mean, it's gonna be thanks to money, but also money would unlock a lot of emotional, I guess, embracing and joy when it comes to me. And then that'll spread amongst you and your spouse to actually come together and talk about shit that, like, isn't being talked about, you know? Because also, it's so interesting, a lot of the times, like, I feel like whatever is on our mind, we kind of make things out to be a little bit more, like, more than it is, so we don't, like, say it because we don't want to, like, go there. with our emotions. We don't want to make it explode even to something more bigger than it is. So we're just going to be like, we just kind of like hoarder those emotions. Like we pile it on, and then all of a sudden, years later, shit is either explosive and or it's then talked about, or it's not, something might happen, God forbid, to somebody's spouse, to one or the other spouse, and things are left unsaid. Like, that's fucking sad. That shit is sad, But, yeah, so I think with spirit, before anybody being taken out of this life, I think it's very important to actually talk about how you feel about different things, and using me as the mediator in terms of that, medium. Because also, spirit would definitely be there nudging you to talk about different things that you need to, that's on your heart, that needs to be expressed so that you can kind of move forward in your life, and feel a whole bunch safer, I think that's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, so I think, and again, Spirit's making me see about the recovery process, which this is all about the recovery process. I think there's and it's wild because in this card, there's like basically, like if you want to see it as a Lamaze class, like there's a female in front of a male, and the female's sitting pretty and she's like pretty content, and there's a masculine that's like sitting behind her that's kind of like, he's like glowing, he is of the light, and I love how angelic it is. And as he is of the light, and he's so much of the light that he's kind of like fading into a cloud, which is so beautiful. But also it's kind of like, one supports another, right? So that's the type of cultivation of an energy that I would want to always keep at the forefront of every relationship. I wish that for every relationship, and I think it's very important. And the thing is, we all as humans, like, don't go through a lot, like, we might not go through a lot of things in terms of, like, each other's things that happen, in terms of, problematic stuff, but, like, on a more delicate level, on a more compassionate level, we all should be at that point where it's like okay to understand what the fuck is going on in terms of consequences of a situation, for us to then feel like not bad, because we don't want to give that energy, but more of an understanding, like, oh, what can that person use out of, like, help through their situation, because they're connected to all of us, and if I could do just one thing for one person to try to get them to more of a forward moving flow, no matter the pace, whether it's slow or medium or a high pace, like, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's whatever that you can intuitively, it's whatever you are intuitively getting to do for that person. And it might not even be doing anything. It might just be like be like blessing them from afar, right? Because we're all not meant to show up for everybody. That's basically what it is, and that's okay. But it's also like, even if, like, so what I'm trying to say here is, let's say there is like a commercial that is in front of your face when you're on YouTube, right? Which, whatever. The whole thing is, let's say there's a commercial about, like, children in a hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to be like, oh, fuck that. And, like, you're, of course, listen, you get the choice of whether you want to watch it or not. But if you decide to skip it, you better be fucking blessing it. You know what I'm saying? Blessing all the kids that are on this earth that are in hospitals. Because, like, again, that was shown to you for a reason. And all you have to do in order to kind of get the ball rolling and moving forward is blessing it from afar. So you might not have, somebody in the hospital, thank God, or you might not ever get somebody in the hospital, thank God, but you're previous protection of it and I'm just saying this because it's more so is than it's not, is to actually, it's a confirmation then, right? If that sound came through, your genuine blessing, and not out of, oh, I'm protecting my family by nothing, you know, by me blessing. No, your genuine blessing has to go in for you to have protection in your own life against all, you know, anything like that could happen negatively. Guys, it's counting me down. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for coming on live, and watch this on YouTube where I'm going to post it. So enjoy. Bye.